a face to face. Either we keep playing games, we cut to the chase.
What's up, y'all? It's Chase, and welcome to Cut to the Chase. All right, I have my co-host here, the one and only, my best friend, Hollywood.
Yes, what's up, y'all? It's Deshaun Hollywood, your co-host on Cut to the Chase. I'm super excited to be here. You already know it's about to be a super, super lit show.
All right, the first thing is I think we need to take a shot. Let's loosen up a little bit before we get into these questions.
I'm with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure you got some questions for me, too.
Oh, I do. You know I came ready.
We gonna talk about some things today. But let's take this shot first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm proud of us. This has been a long time coming.
It's been a very long time coming.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a good sign.
Okay.
Clink, 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 clink.
Cheers.
So best
to the
friends.
good weekend.
Starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woo.
Yeah, I'm ready to answer anything after that.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm ready to ask the questions once it comes. Okay, no. But no. Okay, so here we go. Now, we've been talking outside of this podcast about some things that, we've been going through personally. So I kind of want to bring them to the table up front.
Let's do it.
Because I'm pretty sure it's some people out there that's going through the same thing that can relate to this. And it's time to help the girls out.
I agree.
All right? So, how do you feel about people who watch you, they follow you, they don't comment on your stuff, but then you turn around, you see them mimicking you, using your content, but they don't show you no love, and they act like, this just came out of the blue. How do you, with you being a content creator, how do you manage to do that?
See, this is such a good question. And honestly, all I can do is be real. All I can do is be me. And it's difficult for me. It's difficult for me for a couple of different reasons. It's difficult for me because, you grow up and everyone teaches you that, imitation is the highest form of flattery. Mm-hmm. I have not grasped that yet. I feel like I'm here right now. Give me my flowers now while I'm here. And I feel like if it's not hard for me to acknowledge people when I'm inspired by them, why is it so hard for other people to do it when it comes to me? So that is the thing that really bothers me. But then another thing that I kind of either let it go or feel like I got to swallow it is because they say to be an influencer means that you have influence. So if people are copying off of you, essentially you're doing your job because you're influencing people.
Exactly.
But the non-influencer in me is like, but I blatantly watched you just copy off of me and my look showed up in your video and you didn't give me a credit. So that's it's really hard for me. I'm getting better and I'm learning to not take it so personally. I'm trying not to be so sensitive and wear my heart on my sleeve. But it's a work in progress. I would say that I've gotten a lot better, but I'm not 100% there in complete transparency.
I respect that. I feel you on that. There's a lot of things that I see on the net.
Yeah.
And I see the girls. The girls see me.
They see us.
They see us. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. But yeah, no, I definitely respect that answer. I definitely understand that. But what you said, being an influencer and influencing people is definitely your job. And unfortunately, that's a hard pill to swallow because, of course, we want credit for what we do and how we inspire others and we just want our flowers, And, there is people they'll message me oh my God, you inspire me to lose weight and to get into shape and things like that, and that's cool, But then I'd be like, why couldn't you say that publicly?
Exactly.
But that's a whole different topic because we know why we couldn't say that publicly. But, we ain't gonna get into that today. Maybe later.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But you know what? Chase, I actually, I don't know why this has been, on my mind heavy, and this is something that I've been wanting to ask you, too, because as someone that's single, I can't really speak to it, but I'm very curious just to know, as someone that is like, in a healthy relationship, like a relationship that's thriving, obviously, like, you guys are engaged to be married, like there's so many great things going on in your life in that aspect. How do you deal with the people that always kind of want to pull you into your past? Like, rather that be with a certain ex that you used to be with. I just feel like, when can we ever move on from the past? It's like, why do
Mm,
people always have to bring up that aspect of your life? There's so many
mm,
things that you've done in your life that should be way far in the back, but for some reason people always want to pull you back into that. How do
mm.
you feel about that, and what do you think that is exactly?
You know what? Honestly, I think that it comes with growth, right?
Mhm.
So because I'm in a different aspect in my life, a lot of people are still stuck in that part where I've grown from, So,
Mm.
I've learned to know that like when you get older and you grow, some people just stay stuck in a place where you left them, and
Mhm.
they just don't grow. So like they still remember you at that time. They still remember the things that you did at that time. They don't grasp that you're a whole different person and like you got to know me all over again. So
Yeah.
um so I wouldn't say that can pull me back because I've grown so far from it. But what I will say is that, like, it's amazing to see how far I've come
Yes.
and to see, like, oh, wow, like, some people are still there. But to see where I've come from and where I am now, it's like, it's a blessing to me.
Mhm.
So, like, I just pray and hope that others have grown from that too and don't
Right.
think and hold me in a place where I've grown from. So hopefully that they see that transition. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. So how do I work through it? Like I just say that I'm grown from it. I don't think about it. So like even if I see a blast from the past, it's just like, oh hey, how you doing? How are things? Hopefully things have changed. Because they've changed for me.
See, I
But
love that. That right there,
but
that shows growth. That shows
yeah
growth. And I
yeah
mean, I guess ultimately it just shows that um some people are still stuck in the past. And
yeah
another thing is, I think a lot of times people kind of realize where they fumbled. And I think that is where it's like, wow, I
yeah
really could have been a better person to someone, because
yeah
I've even had to swallow that pill. Like, I'm
mm,
not even going to sit here on my high horse and act like that I haven't had to swallow a pill of being like, you know what, I could have treated that situation a little bit better, or I
mm,
could have been a little bit better in that situation.
mm,
And I honestly think that's what it is.
mm,
But I just bring that up because I feel like I notice the way that you respond
mm.
is so much different than what it used to be. And that's how I know you've truly moved on and there's so
Yeah.
much growth in you. And I just love seeing that.
Oh,
Like, that's super,
thank you.
super dope to see, like, as a best friend, like, witnessing, like, yeah,
Thank you.
he got it.
Because you've been there from the beginning, so you've seen my life have changed like drastically, like through all of the years since you've known me. And even with old friends, like you've seen like my old friends, you've seen, so you've seen them come and go. So it's just not, with exes or anything.
As
It's
well as
just that
mine.
exactly. So
Yeah.
we've both experienced, but we've always been there together through it all. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's a growth thing. And sometimes like it's not necessarily about outgrowing people.
Hmm.
It's just that sometimes you just want more for yourself.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily about cutting people off because, I always say like people don't cut me off. I just how can I say it? Okay, people don't cut me off. And just mentally and what I want for myself, I put myself in spaces and somehow I see that these people can't even get to those spaces, and that has nothing to do with me, and the
Hmm.
spaces that I'm talking about, I'm not talking about like anything bougie and stuff. It's just a mentality thing, so if I want to be in this type of surrounding and you don't, that's just your choice because like I say, I'm always a person who's willing to grab and bring you with me. And if you
Yes.
don't want to come with me, then you have to stay.
Period.
And that's just that.
So long of the short, the girls are lacking growth.
The
That's
girls
basically
are
what it
lacking
is.
growth
So we need a little bit more growth.
on their
But
edges and awe. I'm just
yes,
kidding.
okay.
But
We
yeah.
need some miracle drops or something.
A couple of drops.
Um, Yes. Okay. I love that answer though. Like, I feel like that's so real. And I feel like a lot of people actually can relate to that because a lot of the times, you get pulled back into a situation and you're like, it's been so many years. Why are we still talking about this? Like,
Exactly.
we've moved on. Like, let's just let it go. Like,
And
it
sometimes
is.
you can question yourself too. You can be like, is this a sign from God? Like, am I supposed to like go back? What's
Right.
supposed to happen?
That part.
So
People don't
like,
talk about that enough, but
no.
that's
Yeah,
real.
seriously, because like I've noticed where things are happening so much good in my life, and not saying that anything is bad that comes from the past or anything like that, but sometimes it will make you question like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, is this a sign because I changed? Oh, I need to be closer. Oh, my bad.
Talking
Okay,
to the
cool.
mic.
Talking to the mic. But no, it's not necessarily bad, but it does make you question, and I am a true believer in that sometimes when you're doing so good and God is blessing you, the devil will try to knock you off your path. Off your path.
Mhm.
And, to see, do you want to see, you want to go back? You want to see
Yes.
me? Come here. But
Period.
I'm more like, I have to keep a straight mind forward and I think positive. And I just be like, you know what? Sometimes like God would just place people like to show you like you've grown. It's okay for you to be in a room with this person.
Hmm.
Like, it's okay to say hi. It's okay to be right here because that person is no longer attached to you. So like, it's okay. So that's what I come to realize,
Yes.
Yeah. So hi, how you doing?
Period.
So I have a question for you.
Yep.
Since we're on this topic of friends and things like that, because like, I've actually like I said, we experienced so much.
Man.
So going back on the topic of friends, with the people that you have had in your life and like that I don't like to use the word cut off, but like that just
They were cut off. It's okay. I use it.
well, they were cut off. Do you feel that you have outgrown those people, or were there things that you realized that you just don't connect with those people? And maybe at a time, because there was a time where like, we both were low. And sometimes like when you're not low no more, some people like to see you low. And so when you grown and they're like, oh, you think you're too good for me, So do you feel like that you grew and looked down on them? Or do you feel like you grew and tried to bring them up and then they feel like that you're too good for them?
Honestly, I don't feel like either or. Like, I don't necessarily think it came to a point of like me outgrowing them or them outgrowing me. I think it came to the point of me realizing that I needed better discernment. Like, a lot of times I feel like, with my personality trait, it was very easy for me to just welcome anyone in. And it also was very easy for me to call someone a friend because I knew where my intentions were.
Okay.
But as I got older, I realized not everyone has the same intentions as me. So that's where I feel like, yeah, those people might have needed to be cut off and they need to be cut out of my life because what are you here for? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it's like, are you serving a purpose in my life or are you just here to see what you could get out of my life? And I think those are the things that I'm always constantly thinking about now that I'm over. Before, it was like, oh, everyone's my friend. Like,
Right.
we went out one time and we're friends. This is my friend. Like,
exactly.
we met at the bar. Like, oh, I met my friend at the bar, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, as I've gotten older, that old saying that all of our parents told us back in the day, especially our mothers, like, everybody's not your friend.
Yeah.
That didn't ring true to me until I really lived it out, until I really experienced that. It was like, wow, no. What our parents were telling us this whole time was really true. Not everybody is your friend.
Exactly.
Because sometimes people are only your friend because you are the person that can get them in the party.
Facts.
You are the person that can show up for them when nobody else is, or you can lend them something when they need to. But it's like, I need to know that you're my friend when I don't got it. I need to
Exactly.
know that like I can trust you with my secrets. I need to know that I can be like, hey, I'm down bad on my luck right now. I might need to borrow something, and you're not gonna go telling X, Y, and Z like, oh, this person needed to get this from me. Like, I
Yeah.
just have experienced so many things like that, which made me so jaded in friendships. But I feel like once you get the right discernment, you truly know who's in your corner for the right reasons. All of that is just out the window. It's like there's a feeling that you feel when it's right.
Hey man, I received that. I love that.
Come on, was I
Yes.
preaching? Was
You
that a bit of a
was.
word? I'll give it to you. That was a little bit of a word, you know.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now that we got the deep stuff out, I kind of want to like have some fun.
Yes,
I
let's
wanna-
make it
I wa- I wanna-
lighthearted.
yes, yes.
Should we do
okay.
another shot too?
Let's do another shot. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, don't want to show that.
Okay.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna still have a little left.
Chase, real quick.
Oh, cut to the chase.
I gotta cut to the chase with
You-
that
do-
one.
You want to go first?
I mean, I can if you want me to.
It's up to you. You want me to go or you want to go?
You go, because I'm a.
All right, let's
I'ma
just
say
get
this
into
one.
it. Boom. Femmes or fats? So.
Okay.
So
But that part. Okay,
yeah.
let's
So
get
that part.
into
So
it.
like there is a lot of things going on, and like I just feel like people are just so like contradicting. Not even just contradicting. I feel like they're so judgmental. Like you can't even be yourself. It's hard to date out here if you're. I hate to use this term, but if you're fat or overweight, and then like
Feminine.
if you're feminine, yes, because they want a particular man to be masculine and things like that. So how does one have the nerve to want someone to be masculine when they are the most feminine in the room?
Ooh, clock that T.
So it's just interesting to me.
You know, I have found this topic to be very, very interesting for a very, very long time because someone who lives their lives as a very loud and proud feminine man, I just can't relate to what the girls be crying about. Like, I don't know. I've never had an issue having anybody on my bumper. So I don't know. It's a little weird for me. And also I think it's because I don't care. A lot of times I feel like feminine men try to cater to the masses of trying to be masculine, which is why we have a bunch of queens dressed up in mask. Like, we have a bunch of people who put on a snapback and they're like, oh yeah, I'm masculine. But in all actuality, that's not really the truth that you want to live. But you know that that's the truth that's more accepted. So I think a lot of times people are just kind of going with societal norms, whether they realize it or not.
Right.
And it just takes true self-confidence within yourself to realize like, I could go against the status quo and still like be normal. Because have you ever noticed that like people don't treat me the way that they treat like other feminine men? And I think it's because I stand in it. Like I show up regardless. This is how I am. This is how I'm going to be. I'm not like trying to convince nobody. I'm not trying to make anyone agree with it. Like I'm just going off looks and vibes.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it is what it is. Like you see it, but I'm also not any different either. It's not my full personality. That's another thing that I feel like, I'm not going to lie, like my femme community, I'm going to kind of get on y'all a little bit. I think y'all make it y'all's whole personality. And it's sometimes there's a time and place. And I'm not saying that like, you got to be someone who you're not. But in certain settings, like just for example, I got 4 god kids, 13 and under.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to show up myself around them all the time, but I do feel like there is a time and place for certain things. So I'm not making it my whole personality, and I'm also open and receptive to any questions that people have. A lot of times I feel like, people get offended by questions, but I'm like, if you don't ask, you'll never know. Or you might end up forming your own opinion that might be wrong.
Right.
So let me give it to you so I can give it to you black and white so you know what it is for real.
So I'm so glad that you said that. So like I was actually talking to a friend about this,
Uh-huh.
and I was saying, when did being gay become a personality? Because gay is just a sexuality, right?
Facts.
So it's just like what I like in my bedroom. So now it's like if I wear something, a skirt or something feminine, it's
Mm-hmm.
considered gay. But like that's style though, right?
Right.
So like me acting feminine is like gay. That becomes a personality
Mm-hmm.
because of the way that I act, my mannerisms. Now that's gay. So like when did that become a thing? Because that's what it is now. Like gay is a personality. It's not just a sexuality anymore.
I know. I think it more so came about when like everyone was trying to differentiate every single aspect of what the LGBTQ community was.
Mhm.
Like they were trying to separate it in so many ways that we ended up creating personality traits with all these different categories and subcategories and things like that. And it wasn't people just genuinely being themselves.
Right.
Like it's like now it's like, okay, is that you being yourself, or do you think you have to be like that because you're gay? And also, I think it just goes to show, like, you know how sometimes when people come out and they are very, very hyper feminine and they feel like that's how they're supposed to be because
Exactly.
they're like, oh, this is what the gay community is.
Mhm.
Then later on down the line, you see them and it's like they're not feminine at all.
Look at Rice
Like,
and Cabbage.
I was just going to say Rice
Yes,
and Cabbage,
yes,
the perfect example.
yes.
Like he is someone that like, and there was a big like discourse all over Twitter about this, and people were saying like, I feel like that the gay community bullied him into being that, blah 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 blah. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. As a
No.
feminine man, like I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like maybe, he grew up and he realized that wasn't for him, or
Right.
maybe he didn't necessarily love his look as a feminine man, that he was like, maybe I might do better in the mask realm of things. So
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too open-minded, I feel like, when it comes to certain things.
But I feel like when it becomes gay being a personality, that's when that question comes in. Like, is being gay a choice? Because you can easily be gay with a personality. Like, I can act gay. You know what I'm saying?
But we all know it ain't a choice.
But no. I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The personality gives people that thought. That
Oh,
it
like
is a choice.
that aren't a part of the community.
Exactly. That aren't a part of the
Facts.
community.
Okay,
Yes,
I
yes,
see
yes,
what
yes.
you mean.
Yeah. So that's where the confusion comes in, because you're making gay a personality, and people are forgetting that it's a sexuality. It's
Yes.
urges and things that we have. Like, it's just not like
Right. Yes. Let's get into that.
Yeah.
Because to the people that aren't a part of the community that always think that this is a choice, trust me, if this was a choice, if we just had a little switch in the back of our neck that we could turn on and off, a lot of us would have been turned it off.
I would have turned it off
Me including.
a long
I
time
would have
ago.
been turned mine off. What? Like, y'all think that
Because
we want to go out here in a world where we know that we are
they
going to be
hate us?
subject the hate?
You think I
like,
want to be the 3 top things: black, man, and gay?
Come on, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I would have been
Absolutely
gave it
not.
up.
Okay,
Been
I'm
gave it up.
gonna turn one of the switches off because I love being black and
Hello.
I love being a black man. But if I can turn off at least one of them, maybe I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
like, I can't do that.
No.
So I'm sorry. Like, even growing up, like, I can tell you when I was a kid, like, I used to look at guys and thought they were cute. You know what I'm saying? And at that time,
Same.
so like, that's why when I hear about people like,
I almost
oh,
said 2 names of crushes that I had, like, really early on, that I knew. I was like, something is off. I'm like, because why I think about them like that?
and I was a kid. So when
Same.
people come up with this thing like, oh, like, y'all are preaching and trying to get the kids to be gay. And
Okay.
like, I was a kid. None of that was on TV
None.
when I was growing up. Okay, so
And
like,
I didn't have any examples either.
ex-
I wasn't looking at nobody.
so I would be at the park. I'll never forget. It was this. My grandma used to babysit this guy. I forgot the little boy's name. But anyways, we were going on the slide together, and this when I first liked the boy, and I was little, so I had to sit between his legs to go down the slide, and I enjoyed every minute of that. And I was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Oh my God. Wait.
And that's when I first knew, like, okay, so then it wasn't until like I didn't know what gay was, but I just knew that I really thought this boy was cute. Like, I liked him.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you remember the moment when you realized that gay was wrong to society?
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
Tell yours and I'll tell
Yes.
mine because, I remember it like it was yesterday.
You know what? I've never, like, of course, as a kid, like, I never, like, said what I liked, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I always knew, like, when I would play with girls and I would hear, like, my mom or my sister be like, oh, he got this little girlfriend. And, I'd be like, oh, I play with him, too. And he's not,
My
but
little
whatever.
boyfriend.
Okay, but I never said anything. But the moment I knew is when I was called gay. I was in 3rd grade. That was the first time I ever heard that word.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you gay. And I'm like, huh? What's that? No, I'm not, So then when I went back home and I told my mom, like, they're calling me gay at school. And then that's when she sat down, like, you're not gay. Like, that means boys like boys, blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I was like,
Dun, dun,
Oh.
dun.
I do think they're cute, but this is wrong.
Right.
Because she's telling me, no, like, you're not da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
You just have a little, like, you was brought up by women, so you got, a little feminine ways,
Yes.
And let me clear the air because y'all love to say, like, oh, you didn't have no man in your life, so that's why you gay.
Okay.
My dad was in my life 100%, and I had a stepfather, too, who was there. So I was never into sports. That was never my thing to watch, But like when I got in high school, I tried to be like a little tough. I would get on track team.
But see, and I love that because
Yeah.
that's the guy.
Yeah.
Because look over here at me. First of all, my parents were married. They definitely were in my life. I played football. I played soccer. Was definitely getting rough. And look now, full on queen. So you just never know.
Yeah. It's just like, that's when I found out that it was bad. What about you?
Oh my God. Okay. So I found out as innocent as ever. I was at my babysitter's house. Like, she was babysitting me. And oh my God, this is going to age me. But we were watching Dawson's Creek. Oh my God, stop. I know. I aged myself so hard right there. But we were watching Dawson's Creek. And I remember she had said something like, oh my God, I think he's so cute. And I responded and was like, yeah, me too. And she was like, don't say that. She's like, don't say that because when you get in high school, people are going to think you're weird. And granted, I know because every time I tell people this story, they always like want to like off with their head to my babysitter. But you got to think about it. It was a totally different time in the world than it is now.
That's true.
And I really think she was just looking out for me because you got to think she's been in high school. Like she's been in, so she's seen the people who have tried to be themselves or have tried to come out and what that's done to them or what's happened to them. So she was just really looking out for me. But that was when it clicked to me that I was like, oh, wait, I can't say stuff like that. Or I can't, like, that people are going to look at me like I'm weird if I say this. So that was when I really realized, like, oh, okay, like, this is wrong or this is bad. And I think that's when I started to suppress it and never, ever thought about it ever again until it eventually came out to where, like, you just can't hide it anymore because it's like those hormones are raging, you're feeling it. And it is what it is, okay? You're Googling things.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely Googling things.
Oh, I definitely was, okay? From images to
Definitely
videos.
images. Remember the 2-second, 4-second videos? Because we had no free videos.
Oh,
Yeah,
1,000%.
Yeah.
Or the previews.
The previews, they'd be like 10 seconds. But
Love
they'd
the
be
good preview. LimeWire.
Wait, LimeWire had it?
Oh, LimeWire had everything. That's how I watched any
you
appropriate
serious?
video that was out there. One night in Paris, one night in China.
Oh, well, you know what? Actually,
LimeWire.
I definitely found Tiger Tyson on there. I did.
Oh, you took it back. Not you took it back. Okay, and Castro.
Cash. That
King of the gummy worm.
Exactly. Exactly. That was terrible. But you know what?
Oh my God.
My favorite one is when he bottomed.
To Tiger?
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It wasn't a good scene or anything.
Not
like
at
that.
all.
It was just that like he like bitched him out, and that used to be like a thing of my like I used to love when like a masculine man get bitched out. And
For sure.
Yeah.
So speaking of, let's segue. I feel like that's the perfect segue right here. Do you have a preference? Like, is there like a preference when you were like, seeking out? Like, was it like he need to be a little bit of this? Like, I need him to be a little bit of that. Does he need to be mask presenting? Like, what are these things? Because a lot of times I realize, and I want people to know that this is okay. Because I feel like people get offended if, like, say one of your friends or family members has a preference that's outside of yours or outside of you or whatever. People get mad at that. Like, if my friend told me that they didn't like feminine boys, I would not get mad at that because I truly believe that it is a preference.
Right.
Because it's just like, that's
it's
fine.
my opinion. It's what I want.
Yeah.
People don't respect that nowadays. Like,
They don't. They don't.
take it so personal. Like,
And we just got to stop.
Yeah. But okay, so I would say this. I would say in the beginning, I did have a preference. Like I used to love light-skinned men. And that's all I used to like. Light-skinned men. You got to be in shape. And you do got to have a little masculine. That was my mindset.
So the gay boy starter pack.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
But once I actually got out there, it was like,
wait a minute,
hold on. I like the chocolate.
Yeah.
I like the caramel. I like the lights. I like them all.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I like them all. But it was like, when it came to, because I got to a point where like I wanted to be more open-minded. It was more of a fight when it came to who's more relatable to me, like who can connect with me on another level, because sometimes I can see outside of that. Because I was dating a guy, and I'll never forget, when I sent you a picture, you was like, he is so ugly. You was like, what are you doing? He is ugly. No, best friend. He's ugly. And I used to be like, no, he's not. You know what I'm saying? But because I had got to a point where I was just open-minded and care what it was. It was just like, long as you treat me nice and we connect and we vibing and I get you, like I was more into personality. You know what I'm saying? But then, sometimes personality can be tricky because people are narcissists and gaslighters. You have to look beyond that, So how I found my fiance, it was more of a feeling. Now, don't get me wrong, my fiance fine. Yeah.
Come on, you better, Brett.
I just happened to got lucky that he had the whole package. But it was a feeling, it was a connection that I've never felt with anyone. It was more like he gets me and I get him, and it was like immediately we just like click. Like I'm like, I know that this is gonna work out. And the thing is, we weren't together the whole way. You know what I'm saying? Like we stopped. And we'll probably get into that later. That's probably a little bit too deep for y'all right now.
Okay.
But
we will say that if it's real, it always comes back though, right?
It always comes back. It always comes back, and it came back. So it, like I said, like now at this point, it was more about personality and my connection. So I'm happy.
And I feel like that comes with growth.
Yeah,
That's growth right there.
It does.
Because, we may think about the shallow things in our mind first.
Yeah.
Like when we're younger and stuff. But then once you get older, you really realize, like, no, I really want somebody that's going to listen to me, that's going to vibe with me, that's going to understand me.
Exactly.
And that's more important than like either the physical aspect or anything else that may come with being in a relationship. So I love that. And I love that you share that too, because people need to hear that and they need to understand that it doesn't start off 100% perfect.
Exactly.
Like, you gotta, like, it takes work.
Yeah.
Like, for
and
sure.
it takes time. It definitely takes time. We got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what is the last thing that we should talk about before we get out of here? Because I feel like we talked about a lot of different things, but I definitely want us to get out what is the most important thing or topic that we want to talk about. So, what do you want to say, or do you want me to say it?
I want you to say. I'm gonna let you take it. I'm gonna let
Okay.
you take this lead.
All right. So, the last thing that I really want us to talk about that I feel like would just be beneficial to anyone out there that's listening or that could take something away from this is just truly showing up for your friends. And I know that kind of sounds like random or whatever, but a lot of times I feel like we neglect our friends or we don't necessarily show our friends the most respect that they need to because they are our friends. It's just like that aspect of you here. You're the meanest to the person that you love the most, whether that be a family member, a partner, a friend, or whatever. And I just want us to start showing up a little bit more for our friends in any aspect. Like one thing I will say, like just being a little vulnerable and sharing. One thing I love about you, Chase, is that you've always been that friend to like push me to my limit. You've never let me kind of just like sit in my own, like in my own head or in my own defeat or not feeling the best. Like you've always been the person to kind of push me forward. And I think there needs to be like more friendships like that. Like I'll never forget the time like that you pulled me out of depression. And I think like that is just like so amazing and like your heart has always been so pure from that moment on. And like yeah, we need more friends like you in the world for
I
sure.
appreciate that. And you've always reciprocated that energy back, which is why I always say your friends are your mirror. So like the ones who are
Oh, I
closest
like
to you,
that.
they only reflect back to you what you give to them. So sometimes like we don't know that there are traits that we have, which is why we have like some crazy friends and some blah 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 because there are parts of us. We just don't, realize that. But I love you. I always have, and I always say it. Wherever I go, you go.
Well,
And it's
okay,
always
we
been
in this
that way.
together.
Yes. So y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show
Yes.
episode.
This is an amazing episode.
Yes.
I know we kind of were all over the place. We were talking
Yes.
about a lot of things, but we really just wanted to sit here and get you guys comfortable with our banter and how we interact with each other. There is so much more that we have in store that we want to talk to you guys about. Many topics that I think you guys will be able to relate to. And we also want to hear your opinions too. So like when we post this and there are things that you can relate to, please definitely put your opinion out there and let us know how you feel.
Exactly. And I'm Chase. My Instagram is _Chase me.
I'm Deshaun Hollywood. My Instagram is Deshaun Hollywood _
And we will see you soon. And that is Cut to the Chase.
in the next episode. Bye, y'all.
Bye.